Perimeters of polygons with missing side lengths. Finding a missing side length when given perimeter. So I imagine what we're going to be looking at here are problems where we're given the perimeter and we're trying to find a missing side length. So this triangle with all three sides of the same length, very important that they included that detail. This triangle has a perimeter of 27 centimeters. That three having the same length means that I can take that 27, just divide it by 3. Right? There are 27 centimeters. There are 3 sides. They are each essentially evenly distributing the centimeters between the 3 sides. That's division. The answer is 9 centimeters per side. So again, it's really important to be connecting what you're learning here to previous knowledge, to the stuff that you already know, or that the students already know. This is very much the same thing, just being applied in a different way, and that's a theme that, I mean, I'm sure you're already sick of me talking about it, but I will continue to talk about it for the rest of, time, for as long as I'm doing this stream. A square has a perimeter of 48 centimeters. Again, we are expected to know, aha, a square has 4 sides. A square is a regular quadrilateral. So that 48 centimeters gets divided by 4 for the 4 sides, making each one 12 centimeters. Probably a better idea to keep your units. I often say in math that units don't matter, but they kind of do, so it's a good idea to have them. But I won't mark you down if you don't. That down a little bit. The perimeter of the figure is 41 centimeters. Now this one is a little bit tougher at first. And a lot of the time, especially early on, students are going to have a hard time determining whether they are supposed to add or subtract. And that is a problem that often persists well into high school. So it's good to try to address it now. And the idea is if you have the perimeter, then you have the biggest number, right? Everything adds up to the perimeter, so you've got the biggest number. Perimeter is the biggest number. Now, I'm speaking like a 3rd grader because this is a 3rd grade curriculum at this time. We will talk later about a little bit more technical language where this comes. Or where this comes from. But again, if you have the perimeter, you've got the biggest number. To find any other side, you have to subtract. You have to subtract this 14 centimeters off of the total. You have to subtract this 10 centimeters off of the total to get the one that you're missing. And note that you can only have one missing. If there are 2 sides that are both missing and you don't know that they're both the same, then you can't find it. There's no way. If I didn't know that this was 10 centimeters and I only knew that that other one was 14 centimeters, I would never be able to know either of those sides, even though I know the perimeter. Because there are too many different combinations that could add up to a perimeter of 41. So if you have all 3 of the sides, which are the smaller numbers, you add to make the perimeter, which is the biggest number. When you have the perimeter, which is the biggest number, you subtract all of the sides but 1 to get the last side. I hope that makes sense. 41 minus 10 is 31. Minus 14, let's see, minus 15 would be 21, so 22. I'm going to double check that. 22 and 14 is 36. See, I was wrong. This is why I double check my arithmetic. Why am I having a hard time with this? 41 minus 14 is 31, 30, 29, 28, 27. 17. Okay. Happens to everybody. And in general, if you are working on Khan Academy, I would recommend having a piece of paper out. Like I'm doing it in my head and on my whiteboard, kind of irresponsibly at times, and I have gotten things wrong because of it. So it depends on what you're trying to do, right? Okay. Let's see. Here we are. It is again a rectangle, and it has a missing side, but it has two missing sides. And didn't I just say that we can't have two missing sides? I love this so much. Every now and then, I get this perfect confluence of events. We're trying to find the perimeter of this rectangle right here. Now, we know, at the very least, that the top bit here is 4 meters. Because it's a rectangle, we're allowed to say that. We don't know what this side is. But at the very least, we know that it is the same as the left side. So if we can find the amount that's missing, we can cut it in half to get the total, or to get the side length. We are told, let's scroll up for a moment. 26 is what it adds up to. The perimeter is 26. So there are several ways that we can do this. There's a sort of algebra way where we say 26 equals 4 plus 4 plus question mark plus question mark. Let's do that. I haven't done that one yet. But no, we haven't really talked a lot about algebra or that sort of thing yet. I want to save that until later. Instead, we can recognize that we have the big number, right? We have the biggest number, the perimeter. So we are going to take away the two sides that we know. We know two of them are 4. 26 minus 4 is 22. Minus 4 is 18. And again, because we know that these two sides are equal to each other, rectangle, we can simply divide that number by 2 to get our answer of 9 meters. As a quick recap there, we know that the entire missing perimeter, the entire missing part of the perimeter is 18 meters. And we know that it is evenly distributed between the two sides of the rectangle that are missing, because that's how rectangles work. Opposite sides are equal to each other. We know they're the same, so there is no ambiguity as to how they add up to a total of 26. So 9 meters is the correct answer there. See, now I'm getting really loud. Like I'm getting, feedback as though it were peaking, but it's definitely not. So I have no idea what's going on with the Khan Academy alert today. Not a big deal though.